been leading the clean energy and pro-climate movement. We have a responsibility to continue the fight for a sustainable future for the next generation, and here's why. Over 20 million pounds of plastic enter the Great Lakes every year. Lightweight, single-use plastic ends up everywhere, littering the streets and highways, stuck in trees at parks and forest preserves, breaking down into microplastics in rivers and lakes. Ultimately, it pollutes every natural resource we rely on and have in our communities. That's why I'm working to pass Senate Bill 1872. The bill represents a balanced approach between sustainability and the needs of small businesses, and it is a first step toward reducing our heavy reliance on plastic. Senate Bill 1872 prevents large and mid-sized retailers from offering single-use plastic bags to customers starting in 2029. They would be able to offer recycled paper bags as an alternative. 12 states have plastic bag bans. Over 500 cities in the U.S. have ordinances, and a few municipalities have plastic bag tax, which this bill would eliminate. Those plastic bag tax don't ultimately change behavior. They're actually regressive and hurt the working middle class. So by introducing this bill and giving it a long runway, it makes municipalities actually stop relying on those taxes to fill coffers instead of using them for sustainability programs like what was intended when the law was passed many moons ago. Big box stores and chains like Walmart, Walgreens, Home Depot have the means to improve their business practices. That's why this bill targets those large retailers and includes carve-outs for restaurants and small businesses. Addressing the impact of plastic waste in our environment is a priority not just for myself, but for every community in Illinois. We've seen other states and municipalities implement these strategies with positive results, and it's time for Illinois to join them. I was obviously recently in Mexico for a trade mission with the governor. I went to a grocery store. It happened to be what was near the hotel. I needed something. It was a Walmart. They didn't have any plastic bags. They were trying to change behavior and making people bring their own bags. They also have recyclable bags for folks to purchase when they were needing to purchase their groceries. So if Mexico City can do that, we can sure as heck do that here in Illinois.
More than 10 million people rely upon Lake Michigan for drinking water, and nearly 11 million pounds of plastic waste enter Lake Michigan every year. According to the Ocean Conservancy, the International Coastal Cleanup Crew has collected more than 57,000 pieces of polystyrene foam from Illinois beaches and waterways. Because it is so lightweight and easily breaks apart into smaller pieces, polystyrene tends to drift away on currents of wind and of water. Since it's used so much in disposable packaging, polystyrene is one of the largest causes of global pollution. It also poses a threat to ecosystems that humans and animals rely upon. Degraded polystyrene results in carcinogenic microplastic particles that end up in our food chain. They are eaten by animals like fish and birds, who mistake the particles for food and then may die as a result. For years, when we go out to eat and take home our leftover food, oftentimes the to-go container that we're given is made of polystyrene. Some people may not understand that there are harmful impacts to this kind of packaging, not only to humans, but also to the environment. It is a material that contains a very harmful chemical called styrene. The chemical has been classified as a carcinogen. It is linked to multiple health complications, such as vision and hearing loss, poor memory, cancer, and nervous system damage. Polystyrene in food packaging exacerbates these health risks as the chemical is able to leach into food, especially if the food is hot. In our environment, that harmful chemical cannot break down naturally, which can lead to substantial exposure over time in our landfills and gradually break apart into microplastics. Something that we may use for maybe 2 or 5 minutes can last in our environment for hundreds and hundreds of years. In 2023, I passed the Degradable Plastic Act to ban state agencies and universities from using polystyrene. Because of the present need for continued intervention in other areas of distribution, I am pleased to introduce Senate Bill 1531. This would prohibit the sale and distribution of styrene foam food containers by January 1st of 2030. Even though styrene products are familiar to most of us, most people are unaware of the lasting harm it can impose on our environment and our physical health over time. This step forward is so important for our future generations, and it's up to us to start now to protect our water supply, our environment, and our food supply for our children and our children's children.
Thanks for watching this video. Please like and subscribe to keep up to date with news from the caucus. For more information on what the senator is working on, please follow them on social media using the links in the description below.